Why could you just not put a new brush in there? Why could I not get new brushes? Why can we not do that? That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Well, all right, we're back. So I have a story to tell, not a real good one. Basically, my short block is still at the engine shop. What are you going to do? So this shop has got 5 or 6 guys down there. They're inundated with work. There's engines laying everywhere. And every head of hair is gray. And they're down a man. He had a medical issue, and he is the chief crankshaft guy. And so the owner is having to fill in and do that work, and that's detracting him from putting my engine back together. So they're all just swamped. So, you know, they're good people. It's just, well, I think you guys know how it is with engine shops these days. It's a very, very fine skill set. And there's not a whole lot of them left, apparently. At least that's what I think. And it is what it is. Where does that leave us? That leaves us with this weekend's work. And I decided to fix a lot of the things on my old pickup truck here that have been, you know, annoying the heck out of me for the last several years. So I've got a laundry list, and we're going to dig into it this weekend. 2001 Chevrolet Silverado 2500 HD 8100 Vortec, 5-speed Allison automatic, go big or go home. And right back there is the 8-foot bed, and it is a full crew cab. I dare say, a man's truck. Where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us with a door speaker on the driver's side. Failed. Gonna get replaced. I got a set of kickers, as they say. They probably sound like farts, but I'm gonna put them in anyway. We have a driver's side window that does not roll up or down. Not sure what's wrong with it. I bought a motor, right? I got a motor at O'Reilly this afternoon. And, you know, if it's not the motor, I'll take it back. If it is, I got it on hand. It was working, now it's not, and it didn't. One day it just quit working, so there you go. And then the driver's side rear speaker hasn't worked for a long time, and this one over here is kind of crackly. And we've got an actuator in the dash that makes the air go from one vent to the other. We've got to change that out, and we got a few other things too, I believe. So anyway, let's go ahead and dig right in. Let's go ahead and get this door panel off next. I want to take a look at this window motor, put 12 volts on it, and see if it'll make the window go up and down. If it does, that means I got a switch or a circuit problem somewhere. Took this little light out earlier. I don't really need this to get the motor off, because I noticed it wasn't burning, and I saw that the harness was down inside the door. I'm like, well, and the light bulb was rattling around in this thing. I'm like, what is going on here? Who did this? I don't know. Anyway, so that's a little ungluey, so I'll put some super glue on that and fix it up. The bulb was rattling around. It's working. It's incandescent, but we have some of the LED bulbs that we got on Amazon to use on the RV, so we're going to go with that, I think. I think I'll go ahead and replace those all the way around in all the doors. And let's see, I think the only fastener we have here is we got a 7mm bolt down here on the corner. Dang, that's like 1.5 inches. I think I've been into this door panel before. I can't remember why. I think it's just your standard fare with the Chevrolet, in that you just, you know, pry it off with the, it's got the clips in there. I would be willing to bet that that is the case. Like I say, I can't remember. Well, that's not working. So I got that bolt off of there. We should be able to do some stuff, and it should just work. Duh. You just lift up. Anyway, it's kind of like the Mercedes, actually. It just lifts up and out. Man, that's like so stupid simple. It's ridiculous. All right, I got to get this window connector off of here. Bear with me. I just had to move the little springy clip with the plastic tool. There we go. Actually in really good shape. This is an 01 model. We got one little cut here. Looks like it's broken under the vinyl, and there's one small one right there. But really, there's nothing to do there except reinstall it when we're done. Yeah, that's the factory. Isn't that nice? That's the factory vapor barrier. That's pretty cool. That's a really well-maintained truck. When I bought it, it was a California truck, no rust. And I guess they towed with it because there's a gooseneck hitch in the back, and it came with trailer brakes. And I've never used any of that. Where is the window motor? I don't know. We got plenty of goopy stuff on the cover there, though. Looks like mozzarella cheese, but the wrong color. If I was a motor, where would it be? Probably on the other side. Yep. Excellent. That's broken off. Looks like somebody tried to epoxy it. That was probably me. But we'll figure something out. I may epoxy a piece of steel to it and try to repair it. Or I may just put it back together and not worry about it. Let's get this off of here just so we can see what in the world we're doing. I don't want this thing dangling around, getting in our way. And we got to take that screw out right there, which I think was supposed to, never mind what I think, it doesn't matter what I think. This was probably meant to hold the door on, but it wasn't doing its job apparently. Well, we can't take that all the way off, the handle's in the way. And we got a piece of plastic there. Oh, that's holding the wiring harness on. Let's just move that out of the way. And we're getting access to our speaker anyway, which I bought two, so we're just going to replace both of them. Hey, there's the motor. It's right there in the. It's right there underneath the speaker. Man, that looks like it might be kind of easy. All right, we got a 10 millimeter here. Just push the little lever, make the electrical connector come out, poke a hole in the speaker with your finger like that. They're crap speakers anyway. Yep, that got some 6.5s, and they'll just bolt in there with these little Torx here, in theory. And then you just put that back on there and you're good to go. Okay, there we go. Well, that may not be so bad. I should be able to reach those from the back. Let me take the wiring harness off of the motor real quick. And there's just two wires. I guess one, you light up one and it goes one way, and you light up the other one and it goes the other way. There we go. All right, I was able to loosen that top one. Yeah, thankfully they're not on there real tight. Let me try the Phillips. It's one of them screws that can go either way, you know. Boy, there's so many jokes right now. I don't know what to do with myself. Hand loose, as opposed to foot loose, which is something completely different. How about them legs? Bet you guys didn't know I had such sexy legs. Uh-oh, spoke too soon. That one's a bear. I'll be right back. That's gonna take me a little while. All right, I got the troublesome one out. Now I'm working on the last one here. All right, so this motor, the casing on this replacement motor is a lot bigger actually. And there's a connector for the motor, but there's no pigtail. This one has a pigtail into a female connector, and there's a female connector on here. I guess it would plug into the harness down here, but there's like zero wiring room there. So will this gear go into this door? Let's do that first. No, it does not. Wrong part. I guess I'll go back and get the cardone that's been remanufactured, because I got no pigtail, and the gears are all messed up. This is kind of frustrating. I guess I'm going back to the parts house. All right, so I took this thing to O'Reilly. I took the original motor to O'Reilly along with the Dorman part. The Dorman part was clearly wrong. It had the wrong teeth, the wrong bolt holes, everything was wrong. I get up there and I say, well, let's try to figure this out. And long story short, O'Reilly did not have the right part. They looked all through their database, could not find the correct part at all. It simply could not find it. LN-578 V as in Victor, A as in Alpha, -4819. You can Google that and you'll probably come up with an eBay hit or something. But O'Reilly could not find this in their database. Sometimes this happens with older vehicles. All these parts houses, they all use the same database vendors or brokerage firms, I think. That's just an opinion, I really can't say. But, and sometimes entries just get wrong. And there's so many different window motors in these vehicles that it's just a real mess. Anyway, especially with older vehicles. So anyway, they couldn't find the motor. So I said, you know what, guys, let's give up. And I'm going to take this thing home and just maybe I can get lucky and try to repair it, or get on someplace like GM Parts Giant and look up my VIN, and they could probably have the right one. So it's not a big deal to take apart. It's got 3 screws. The motor slips out of the magnets in here, and the commutator, or whatever the proper term for it is. And it was not hard to take apart. I did have to take the wiring loom off. I didn't want to disconnect. I didn't want to unsolder the wire from the end of this, or from, and I did, so it's because it goes through this casing. Anyway, you get it. So, long story short, I'll show you what I found here. And I haven't even tested it yet. So this is where the brushes contact right here, right? And you can see lines on either side where it rubs. But if you go around to this side, you see that big honking corrosion mark there? There's a big black corrosion mark, and then there's 2 empty spots where it looks like the brushes were maybe stuck there or something. I mean, that should be, copper colored. It shouldn't look like, well, it shouldn't look like crap. So I think maybe that is why this motor would not activate. And that and one of the brushes appears to be, holy crap. Okay, I think I just found another issue. I may not be able to fix this the way I thought I would. And the other issue is down inside there. I'm assuming there's supposed to be 2 brushes. You can see the top one up there, it's got a lot of meat on it. And you can see that bottom one. I don't know if you can see the bottom one. It is like completely destroyed. Maybe I could clean it up and it would continue to work. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna try, but I doubt it. I'll probably have to get on a GM Parts Specialist site and put the VIN number in. But anyway, I'm gonna give this a try and just see how it goes. Well, so much for that idea. That's what's left of the bottom brush. It's basically just broken in half and corroded in about a gazillion pieces. Which leads me to another question. The other brush is really good. Why could you just not put a new brush in there? Why could I not get new brushes? Why can we not do that? That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Fix the motor and put a new brush in it and keep on going. Okay, so we're waiting on parts. Got those new brushes coming in from the motor, and a couple other things coming in from Amazon tonight. Meanwhile, I need to carry on with my tasks for the weekend, and took this stock speaker apart. Pretty simple, really. 4 screws. The new speaker just has a basic speaker wire connection on it. Of course, the stock, our OEM speaker, has a factory connector on it. I suppose I could probably find an adapter somewhere online, but I didn't really think about that. I think what I'm going to do is take this off of here, find a way to connect it to here, and then I can use the factory wiring harness to hook up our speakers. It's slipped on there in some kind of way. I guess I'll go ahead and clip those wire. And these speakers don't work. They're blown, by the way, so. Plus they were crap to begin with. Let's clip that off of there. I could just cut it with a Dremel tool and not worry about it. I could do it like this. If you wanted to buy this speaker, this stock speaker, original equipment, I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you get this speaker and this plastic assembly. You can get it from GM Parts Giants. It's about 60 bucks a piece. So for $120 or $120, you can completely replace your rear speakers with some stock crap speakers. This is just ridiculous. All right, I'm gonna rip this off of here. I'll be right back. All right, I just basically cut it off of there. I guess the housing of that speaker is made out of is that aluminum? No, that's like it's just the softest steel known to man. Pretty weird. I mean, it's really, really, really soft metal. Basically, I'll desolder the wires from here. I need to get some speaker ends to fit this, and I don't have any, and I don't think any came in the box. Let's see. I could be wrong about that. Maybe there is some in the box. Kicker! No, there's nothing in the box. But well, hold up now. Hey, look at that. We have these little cheap-ass butt connectors, or whatever you call them. We do have a pack of those, so there's something. Look at that. Look at that. Where's the other one? We do have them. Cool. We got two right there. There they are. And we have some screws and some little brackets. All right, Kicker, you're doing okay. Kicker's all right with me. That means all we have to do, plug this in here, and then we're gonna go over here and solder this to this connector and get our polarity correct. And then we'll have a factory harness that we can plug our new speaker into. So that'll be pretty cool. All right, I'll be back in a few minutes. All right, the internet says the brown wire on the harness on the car is positive, and the brown wire is on the right as you plug it in there. And the positive on a speaker is always the big flange. All we got to do is, all right, so positive is without the stripe, of course. I think that I haven't done audio stuff in a long time, so yeah, I guess the stripe is the negative side. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and desolder this and resolder that, and I'll be back shortly. Always use the right tool for the job. Let's see, I can grab on the plastic on the back side and just need a little something to keep that in place while I solder it. Let's get some stuff here. All right, we got some flux applicator, solder, and I got my other cheapest. This is actually a Weller. I got this one from Lowe's, I think. I was using the Harbor Freight one to extract solder. I think I'm going to try to use this one. It doesn't even work. Look at that. It won't even. This is going to be an exercise. Why can't I have good things? Let's get some solder on that. Flux, I mean. Get on there. Need a brush. Need one of those little brushes. I got some little paint brushes over there. That would do, wouldn't it? Man, look at that. Like a pro. Yeah, that's good. I'm not such a hack after all. All right, let's do the other one. All right, just a slight crimp. That should do. By golly, I think we got us a factory adapter, folks. I'm calling that good. All right, so we got one speaker ready for installation into the cover here. So let me go ahead and get all these started. This doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to stay in place. You just screw in these self-tappers into some plastic. Very, very basic. All right, this speaker and this wiring harness that we made plugs in and works perfectly. The radio, however, does not. So I turned on the radio, I took it over to the car, turned on the radio. This came on, didn't really sound, it still sounded kind of weak to me, you know, like low volume. Even though the front was boomy, you know. And then all of a sudden, psh, nothing. So I'm like, oh crap, don't tell me I blew the speaker for some crazy reason. Anyway, I brought it back in here to the shop. And anyway, I took the speaker wire out of one of my shop speakers hanging on the wall up there and connected this. I connected it into here and everywhere, and the speaker works fine. The shop stereo makes it work. All of this is fine. It's the radio. So I guess the rear channels in the stock radio are dead now. It could be the wiring harness going to the rear speakers. Regardless, I think probably what I'm going to have to do is now search for a replacement radio for my '01 Chevy. I really don't like aftermarket radios in an older vehicle. I think they just look stupid. And I'm not interested in hi-fi and all that shit. I used to be, but not so much anymore. Although the one exception is the motorhome. I put a kick-ass stereo in that, but that's for vacation. But for the truck, I just kind of want it to look stock. All right, fixed. At least the right rear speaker is fixed anyway.
1979 for $1 million in term life insurance.
So I went with some of these type of connectors. You can get them at Lowe's or wherever. I use them on the RV for all kinds of stuff, and they're great. You just slip the wire in and flip the little lever down and go on about your business. So I kind of wanted to use the factory harness, but it sucks, and I don't have the proper tools to take it apart and repair it, and I'm just not going there. I've got this on hand, I'm going with it. So that begs the question, what's wrong with the left rear speaker? Let's hope it's the same exact problem and the same exact fix. So technically I could probably take these speakers back, but the OEM speakers suck anyway, so let's go ahead and keep these. We'll just call this an upgrade, and coupled with a repair. That's what we'll do. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and swap the left rear speaker out and repair its wiring harness. Let's hope that's what's wrong. If it's not, I'll let you know, and I'll be back shortly.
For all the things that make
Fixed. All right, we're back. So I got an $8 bag of various sizes of electric motor brushes from Amazon, Dongcheng brand, some factory across the world, and $8 for a bunch of them. And I took one out of a pack here, and I started grinding on it with my my Dremel tool. And my point is, I couldn't find the brush that I wanted online shaped the way that I wanted. So I had in my mind, well, why could you not just get a bigger one and cut it with a Dremel tool and make a brush? Because the brush that I need sits in a hole in a piece of spring steel, and I think I can do that. I was able to cut this material with the Dremel tool. Here's my piece of brush that I cut off with the Dremel tool. I'm going to flatten this end down, and then what I'm going to do is take some off around the periphery and make myself a little nub that slips into the hole in that in that brush holder. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I know you guys think I'm nuts, but I'm going to try it anyway. So that's my brush, and I basically shaped that end right there to fit inside that little hole on the brush mount. And this is just the first pass. This one may not work. I may have to do it again. It's maybe too big, probably is. All right, so the one on the bottom here is my new bushing. The one on the top is, well, the original. Mine has a little, you probably can't see it, but it has a little nub. It slips through a hole in the spring steel here. And I may have made it too big, but I'm going to try to slip that in there now and see what happens. All right, I got my shape much more refined there. You can see the nub is a lot taller, and I think I'm approaching the height of the original brush. All right, I got my makeshift brush down in there. Probably can't see it on the bottom there. Went down to the parts house, picked up a fresh bottle of super glue. The little nub that I made, it broke off. I figured it would. Wasn't surprised by it, so I just put it in place and super glued it to the spring bar. And let's hope that works. So anyway, I got it spread apart. I got it in place there. So up next, I'm going to go ahead and reassemble the motor and hook up that wire that I mistakenly disconnected, and we'll see what we get. All right, I got my power supply hooked up here, and looks like we're in business. So it's spinning one way, that's spinning the other. So there you go. I just need to solder this wire to that terminal, bend that over a little bit, and put screws. I'm bumping the camera, aren't I? Anyway, we'll put it back together. So cross your fingers, it'll stay fixed. All right, I got the motor placed up inside the gear housing. Got my weak-ass power supply connected up here. There we go. And we'll make it go the other way now. This power supply, I don't think it's really designed to do that sort of thing. It's for little bitty stuff. So, but this seems to work. The gasket was a basket case around that, the sealant, and I just cut it off. And I'm going to go ahead and just put some Permatex on it and call it a day. And we're going to bolt this back into my truck. All right, so we're back. All right, so I got the new speaker in the driver's side door. That speaker was fried. There is one thing I want to take care of on this truck while we're doing all this. These old GM pickup trucks are notorious for the door locks to start freezing up. You press the button and then it'll go you know, like a slow moving steam train. It's supposed to go clunk, clunk. I did a little research. In other words, I watched somebody else do it on YouTube. And the general consensus is these shafts here get all gummed up and offer this point right here, right? This clip, and this clip offer a lot of resistance. And now that I get in here and look at it, whatever grease they use at the factory, it is like seriously old and gluey, and it's lost all of its lubricity. So we're going to clean that off of there and see how it goes. And this clip here is actually broken, so I'm not going to try to take this rod out of these clips because they'll probably break. So I'm going to clean the rod on either side, then I'll move it, and you know, so on and so forth. And just good old WD-40, a good solvent, should take care of that old grease. It's kind of hard to believe that this would offer enough resistance to prevent the mechanism from working properly. Holy cow. Just that, oh my goodness. That is incredible. Thank you, Mr. Person Dude, that I think I actually subscribed to his channel when I saw the video. I'm like, holy cow, that is so stupid simple. So I'm going to do all the doors like this, and we're not going to just use WD-40 as the lubricant. We're going to go ahead and put some of the white lithium grease stuff on it, which I happen to have right here. I've had this tube for quite a while. It needs a little bit of shaking up. This one over here is broken. But I'm not gonna worry about it. All right, that's good enough. We'll spread that around. This should be, that should be good to go now. Oh yeah, baby. Outstanding. All right, so that's good to go. I think I'm done with this door. I am going to put an LED in this after I break it. It'll be fine. I'm going to put an LED in this guy, so it'll go in that wiring harness right there. And but for right now, I'm going to go ahead and put the vapor barrier back on. I don't think I'll need to add any sealant here. Looks like it's still got enough to reattach. If I was going to add some, I would use the 3M strip caulk. All right, one more thing. So the window regulator in this door is stock. It's the original one. The motor here is stock. It's the original one. I looked inside here. Everything kind of looks old and dirty and a little grungy, but it works. Over there on the driver's side rear, after looking at this one, I immediately realized, oh, somebody in the past replaced the right rear regulator and the motor, because that motor over there is not like this one. This one's clearly original. So I think that one came out of a Cadillac. My assumption is somebody took this truck in because the window didn't work over there. They went to a dealer. The mechanic didn't have the exactly right part. He grabbed a cross number reference that fit another GM vehicle and used that instead because it was on hand. It worked. Everything was hunky-dory. They sent the previous owner going down the road. So you can look in here and see that this regulator, look at that plastic in there. It's nice and pearly white. The metal is not corroded. This the coating is still on that bolt right there. Same thing over here. You still have that gold coating on the bolt. The motor looks brand new. This entire window regulator is brand spanking new. And some person at a dealership installed it, and I guess it worked for a while and then quit. Quit on me, that is, because the motor I bought wouldn't work. And however, this motor was in fact messed up. The contacts were corroded, the brush was broken, and we rebuilt it and we got it to work. That was the first motor I'd ever rebuilt, so I was kind of proud of that. However, the window wouldn't come down because it was stuck with sap and pollen and all kinds of stuff. So I got in here and pulled the rubber away from the window, put WD-40 all around it, and I got the window to free up. But this regulator wants to free fall, so it was able to start pulling the window down, but when it was going to go back up, it couldn't do it. Regardless, what I'm going to do is I'm going to order the factory original window regulator for this pickup truck, this 01 Chevrolet, because this one is not the right part. It's a little different, and the motor's wrong. It's got the wrong gears on this black plastic part right here. I guess it worked for a little while, but failed again eventually. So anyway, this is not going to get fixed this weekend, which is fine. I'll fill you in on the details later. But bottom line, we figured out what was wrong with this thing. This motor was bad. We rebuilt it, which that was kind of cool, although that's not going to be the ultimate fix action. It's going to be the replacement of the entire window regulator and the addition of a new motor that works with that new OEM regulator. So anyway, enough about all that. And this is the speaker harness. I clipped the end off of it. It was the speaker connector was flaky. That was the reason why this speaker was not working properly. I showed you that earlier. I'm going to use those connectors when we reinstall the speaker assembly. So right now I'm going to go ahead and order all these parts. It'll probably take about a week to come in, and probably fix it next weekend. So all right, let's move on to other things. Just how much stuff is broken on this truck anyway? Just never mind. I'm getting there, okay? Just relax. All right, so the next thing I'm going to change out is this actuator thing that, you know, moves the doors for the air conditioner and the heat. And this is the main one. Apparently it decides where the air goes. And it is basically right up underneath here. I'm not even going to try to film it because that's just stupid. It's held on with screws. You use some tools. There's a little connector right here. This one is the 5-pin, by the way. I think this is the expensive one. This is from Dorman. This one I got on Amazon, I think. The price was really good, so I'm going to go with that. And because the OEM one is just like, I don't know, it's expensive. Not going to go there. I can only hope that Dorman sat around in a factory somewhere and said, hey, you know what's wrong with that OEM one? Yeah, let's fix that for the, for the replacement. That's kind of what's going on in my brain. I looked up underneath there a couple of days ago. It shouldn't be all that difficult, but you can see where it is. I got to crawl underneath the dash, and I'm just not going to worry about trying to film that. But anyway, I'll give you a little taste of why I'm changing it right now. All right, so if you were curious, here's the original actuator, and the primary gear here that attaches to the cam is basically cracked in half. There's a huge crack here, and you can see where the crack carries on the other side over there. So that gear is about to come in too, really. Other than that, I think everything in here, like the motor and the circuitry and the other gears, I think they're fine. But this guy here is the culprit. I don't know. I suppose you could find that gear somewhere and replace it. I got a Dorman part we're going to put in the car, so just thought I'd open this thing up and see what was going on with it. Oh, he's going off the deep end now. Yeah, boy. My volume knob has been missing for the last couple of years. And the original knob, the inside's broke. I couldn't turn the radio on and off without taking the knob off and, pressing on the little shaft right there. It is time now to remedy that situation. That's nice. Look at that. That's so nice. Nothing like an OEM radio. That button's missing too. I just noticed it. All right, we got the mode door actuator in place, and that was easy peasy. It was no problem whatsoever. Just disregard that. We'll tell you more about it when we get back home. All right, we're moving on to some piddly things that have been annoying me for quite some time and manifest themselves in the form of a missing LS badge. I would imagine this is cringeworthy. Alright, I guess I won't have any problems remembering where the sticker was. So this is under the sticker, so I'm really not that concerned with it. And really all I was doing with the razor was getting off there was this thick silver backing from the old sticker was left on the truck. So that's what we're going to have when we're all said and done. So I can't really film this, I don't think. I'm going to do this with two hands, and I'll be back in a moment. Nothing like some good old 3M adhesive. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? You can see I moved the sticker around a little bit to cover up the bad parts. Got a little bit right there, you can kind of tell, but whatever. I think somebody put an updated coat of clear coat on this truck at some point. So, but at any rate, that looked way better than the way it was. So there you go. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side now. And oh yeah, pollen in the south. We're going to get back there with a pressure washer or something. I don't know. That's got to go. By the way, this Pro Strength Remover by Goof Off. Pick it up at the local big box. It's good to go. We'll get all this really loose, gooey stuff, and then we'll work on it with the. See, it's just dissolving it and moving it around on the body of the truck, and then we'll do the scraper again, and then we'll do this again, and then you can see it's just eating it away. That's what these granules are. So this is really tough stuff. It's been on there for a very long time. All right, so that's after some of this, a dose of the razor, and then back at it with this stuff, and you can see it's just eating the glue away. And a combination of tools to make this whole thing work. I suppose maybe the heat gun might have been in order, but I don't know. I just something about putting the heat gun on the body of my truck is, I'd rather do it this way. I'm sure others might disagree, but this is the way I'm going to do it. So anyway, got a little more there, and we'll be done. We'll put the new sticker on. All right. I believe we can consider that to be much more tidy indeed. This camera on this Samsung Android, man, it picks up every microscopic. I look in the camera and it looks like crap, but if I look in real life, it looks pretty okay. So, especially back here. Oh, and that's where I put the WD-40 on the window to break it free. Don't worry about that. That'll get cleaned up. All right, next thing on the agenda is to take care of these old faded trim pieces here. So, got a little body pry bar, and I'm going to get these little plastic clips out all the way around, and I'm not going to try to do this on the truck. That's just kind of rednecky. I'm going to go ahead and remove them and paint them and then reinstall. Alright, so that's what that looks like. I think the factory used a little bit of sealant, so clearly this will have to be washed. I'll get the goof off stuff and get that adhesive off of there. And I'm not sure what I'm going to use. Here's the offending trim piece. Actually, they're all like this. So, not sure what I'm going to do here. I think maybe I'm going to get a little, it's got some scuffs, some scratches here. That wasn't me. I think that was my other half. At the gas pump, and they have those poles next to the pump, I think you know what I'm saying. So anyway, I'm going to get after this with some steel wool or some Scotch-Brite or 220. I don't know, something. Let me figure this out. I'll be back here in a minute. All right, so I got after this thing with some 150 grit sandpaper by hand. And those deep scratches that you saw earlier are, you can see them there, but you can't really feel them all that well. You can just a touch. I'm hoping the paint will fill that in. I'm just not going to go crazy with that. It'll be black. You won't be able to notice it. Let's hope. Also got out after it with the orbital sander with the 220. And finally I degreased it with a little bit of acetone. Very lightly. Just, let it evaporate immediately so it wouldn't damage the plastic. So up next, I think we're about ready for the mobile paint booth. All right, here's what we're going with here. Going with this SEM 391-43 trim black, the industry standard OEM matched coating for refinishing automotive trim components. I dare say we're going to see if it was worth the money. So I'm going to start off by, I don't know, let's hit this little part right here. I'm just going to spritz it. You never know about this stuff. Sold. That's a very, very fine dust coat. Oh man, that's going to look super nice. I'll tell you what, it better. This stuff cost all the dollars, man. I ain't lying. It's pricey. All right, I dare say that's pretty good, really. It's black. So, pretty good product, I'd say. Got to be careful, though. Comes out of the can pretty quickly. All right, I screwed up, mostly because of, well, I've never done this before. I forgot, or I didn't know. I wasn't thinking. There is a strip of double-sided adhesive tape all the way around the trim piece, and that has to be replaced if you take this thing off and put it back on the truck. So, got the favorite razor blade tool here, and gingerly scraping that off without taking any plastic off with it. So that seems to be working out pretty well. And I'm doing the other side now, down to there. Then I got to take that off, and I'm using, I'm going to use rather 3M part number 38583. There's 5 yards of this, and I think it might be a little bit thinner than the stock stuff, but we'll make it work some kind of way. But anyway, so we got to put some more sticky tape on it, and then I'll probably have to shoot it after I've scuffed it here on the bench, you know, another little dust coat of black, and then we'll put it back on the truck. All right, there we go. Just got to get my fingerprints off of there from all the dust and stuff. Nothing a good wash won't handle. All right, so there you go. SEM trim black paint. This piece of trim was the worst one on the truck because it had been scuffed, because it had a little bit of a ding here at the gas station. I wasn't driving. So I still see the scratches here. You know what? I'm just not going to go there. I'm just not going to spend all that time trying to do that. So that's what we look like coming out of the factory floor. Almost. That looks pretty doggone good, if I say so myself. And just for reference, this is what they look like now. This is what they look like after I'm done. So there you go. I'm going to go ahead and do the 3 others. One thing I screwed up on was this double-sided tape. It's all the way around the inside of the trim panel. So they got this at O'Reilly. This is 5 yards for 12 bucks. A little pricey. It's a lot cheaper on Amazon, but I didn't want to wait. So I pretty much have 2 yards on one panel. So that's 5 yards. I've used 2. There's 3 feet across the top and a 1.5 feet across the sides. So that's 2 per trim panel. So that's 2, 4. Won't have enough to do. I'll have to have another roll to do the whole car. So they only had 1 at the parts house. Awesome. So I'll have to go to the other O'Reilly across town, which is a distribution center, which is where I usually end up anyway. So the process would be remove the trim panel, clean it up, sand it down, remove the old adhesive, paint the trim panel, lay it on something soft, put new tape on, put it back on the car. So that's the basic process. Well, all right, everyone. I think we're going to have to call this a video. Let's review what we've done so far. Troubleshot and replaced and repaired rear speakers and rear speaker connectors. So if your rear speakers stop working, I looked this up online in a lot of forums. A lot of guys complain about that, and that connector gets corroded. And just kind of clean it up a little bit. You probably just, you know, it's a $0 fix really. But I needed some new speakers anyway, because this one was fried and the other one was on its way out. So anyway, along the way we repaired, and first time ever for me, repairing an electric motor. I've never done that before. That was kind of cool. I learned something. Although the window regulator on the other side over there in the right rear door is not the OEM unit. It's somebody replaced it with one that would work, and then that one quit. So I'm going to order that, and I'll probably replace it next weekend or whenever it comes in. Another cool little item we did was put LED lights all the way around the doors, and I opened these doors last night when it was, pitch black out here, and these LED bulbs, just lit up the entire driveway to the street. It was just ridiculous. It helps a lot at night. It really does. Now for the big ticket item, the mode door or the blend door actuator underneath the driver's side of the console. I got the old part out. I showed you that earlier, but I was trying to install the new one and I gave up. I threw in the towel, guys. I swear, I tell you what, it was killing me. It was killing me. I have bruised ribs on my left side. I ain't lying. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I was laying down underneath here trying to get that thing in there. It wouldn't go. I knew how to get it in there. It's pretty painful. So I had to quit, and last night I'm laying in the bed going, it was pretty awful. So I got up this morning, and I called my local shop that I trust. They're really good people. I said, hey man, you need to help me out. I got the part. I've already removed the old one. All you got to do is slap it in, recalibrate the system, and away I go. So, and they took them, and actually it took them about an hour and a half to do that. It wasn't just, you know, it just didn't drop in there. You guys that have done this know that that actuator is a real pain to get to. Well, anyway, my air goes to the proper vents now, depending upon the setting on my control assembly. So how cool is that? And it actually, since I've owned the truck, it never really has worked all that well. It was kind of, I think I'll go to the defrost a little. I think I'll go to the front vents a little. It was really annoying. And then the other day, it decided to break altogether. That gear broke clean in half inside the housing of that actuator, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I gotta get this thing fixed. And the last thing we took care of were these nasty looking fender well trim covers. Man, I tell you what, they've been bugging me for several years now, and I finally decided to do something about it. So I used the SEM paint. It's really good stuff, but you want to pay attention to the process if you remove this from the vehicle, right? So when you remove it, just go ahead and flip it over. Go ahead and remove the old adhesive, clean it up real good, sand it down however you want to, and then paint it. Let it get good and dry. Lay it down on something soft. Get yourself some good 3M double-sided adhesive for trim parts, and just put it back on the car. Don't forget to line up your holes, right? Make sure the holes align. Otherwise, you're going to be taking it back off of there, and it's going to cause you problems. I'm telling you, you need to listen to me. But anyway, we got it on there, got the little pieces back in place, and all I got to do is do the other three, and you don't need to see that process. It's pretty much the same thing. But all in all, I'm on my way to fixing all the little things that have been nagging me about this pickup truck for several years. And oh yeah, I finally got a new knob for the radio. How cool is that? Well anyway, we're gonna call this a video. I appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to be notified whenever I release a new video, don't forget to click that little bell down below. You guys have a good one, and remember to enjoy driving and maintaining your classic GMT800.